The topic is signs that you're not ready for marriage. My name is Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation, and hopefully I can help you see things with a clear eye. You know, the first thing that you should understand is what marriage is and why people get married in the first place. So I'm going to share some what would be considered deep stuff, but in our world at the Marriage Foundation, it's routine. So people get married universally. Everybody gets married with the idea that they're going to be happier. That makes sense, right? Why else would you do it? Who gets married with the idea of, gee, now I'm going to suffer? And then you have to ask yourself, well, what makes people happy? And you could ask, what makes me happy? But then you need to sort of separate. There's two worlds of marriage, right? There's the spiritual world, because love is spiritual. You can't touch it, feel it, see it, hear it. Love is spiritual. So there's the spiritual aspect of marriage, and equally there's the material aspect, because spiritually we are occupying a material body, which requires material things. We need food, oxygen, we need a place to live. So we as an individual merge our two lives into one, and that's what we bring to the table when we get married. And when we get married, we're seeking happiness. But then I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to know I already know the answer, but what's more important to you? The spiritual aspect or the material aspect? So I'm going to help you with this. You might have heard the anecdotal stories of very wealthy men, including Steve Jobs, who on their deathbed go, oh my God, I blew my whole life. I focused on achieving material goals, including fame, fortune, power, and I didn't work on the things that bring love. It's common. We hear these stories all the time. And the reason why they're disappointed in their life at that point is because it's a huge delta between the happiness that comes from spiritual, from love, and that which comes from material. Material things are fleeting. In the material world, it's always more and better. We have to constantly seek more and different and new. And all of the happiness is elusive. We reach one goal and we have to find another. But with love, it stays, it expands. It's amazing how fulfilling it is. And so when you're getting married primarily to be happy by having unconditional love. Not I love my dress, I love that car. Unconditional love. So now you have to go, how do I get unconditional love? Most people, and I don't mean most like 6 to 4, I mean most like 9.9 out of 10, because we don't study love and spiritual things in school, we're under the misconception that we will be happier when we get a new car, a better job, a bigger bank account, a good vacation. And so we waste our lives striving for these things, not realizing that marriage itself is an amazing spiritual path to happiness based on achieving unconditional love. That's what it is. So now you're looking at, am I ready for marriage? And the real question is, do you know enough about marriage so that you're ready to utilize that marriage to achieve these amazing ends? because there's nothing that comes close to unconditional love. Nothing. Oh, ask yourself the question. Imagine that some saint comes up to you and says, okay, I'm going to give you a choice. You could have $1 bazillion times 10, or you could have just a normal life, but you'll have unconditional love. Which would you choose? But if you choose the $1 bazillion times 10, no love. No love. You can have all the toys you want, you could have all the stuff you want, you could have all the travel you want, you could even have all the sex you want, but no love. If you think about this honestly, you're gonna go, are you kidding me? That's not a choice. I take the love. How do I know? Because you could look at the poorest people in the world who have love, and they're so happy. You could take a look at the richest people in the world, and they don't have that. And they're not all that happy. They're living a mundane life. So the question really isn't, am I ready for marriage? The real question is, do you understand marriage well enough to go, this is an amazing pursuit, and that's what I want? And then the next question that comes, well, how do I know who to marry? So let me fill you in on this. The person you marry isn't going to give you unconditional love. This is like an amazing reality that nobody knows because we don't learn spiritual things. So here is the trick about love, about unconditional love. Everyone demands it. Everyone wants it. Everyone believes they deserve it, and rightfully so. But where does it come from? Now, if you're Christian and Jesus came to you, or if you're Jewish and Moses came to you, or if you're Islamic and Muhammad came to you, don't care, but you take a pure soul and they come to you and they just open their hearts and flood you with this love, you ain't going to feel it. You may see signs of it, but you won't feel that love because there's a secret to love. Now I'm going to share that secret with you. The secret to love is this, that you do not feel love, and I'm not talking about the signs or the indicators, but you do not feel love unless you're giving it. There's a reason why. The mind is a mind that is tremendously controlled, although it shouldn't be, by your body's needs instead of by you, your soul, by you, the soul. There's literally a battle going on in the mind, but those of us here are typically mostly controlled by our bodily drive to survive. The drive to survive means that we are cautious to the point of paranoia. So if someone offers us something, we inspect it before we receive it. The only one we don't have to inspect it is when our mother gives it to us, because we have learned to appreciate her love as unconditional. You're not going to marry your mother. You're going to marry someone else. Your drive to survive induced radar is not going to come down. Now, it should come down. You should work on bringing it down, but it won't be down. So, to experience love, this is so cool. All you need to do is give it. Because as you give it, take your mind off of the object of your love and tune in to that feeling of that love coming through you. This is literally scientific, metaphysically scientific, but it's still scientific. That's how we experience love, by that which flows through us, not by that which is coming to us. So naturally you want to choose somebody who is also understanding this and is on that path of wanting to give love. And when you're in a marriage, which is a closed off space, I call it the sacred space of marriage, it's safe to give love after you have completely vetted the person. Okay, so are you ready for marriage? I don't know. Is this your path? Your spiritual path? Your love path? Because all spiritual paths are the same. The seeker is seeking love. That's it. So, are you ready? Only you can answer that. Now, are you ready to marry the person who's asked you? It's a different question, isn't it? So, how do you know? Well, we started a sister organization called Premarital Academy, and really you should look at the offerings we have there because they would be highly useful to you. But in a nutshell, you should be vetting people who you wish to marry based on criteria that you have already established that is important to you. So this could get pretty complicated. I try to make it simple, and it is simple, but we're not used to these words. We're not used to these contexts. We're not used to these scenes, because in the world they treat marriage like some kind of business deal, quite frankly. And it's not. The reason why there's such a high divorce rate, which is probably scaring the hell out of you, and it should, is because people don't understand marriage the way I've started to describe it to you. So they don't know what they're looking for when they get married. Most people get married thinking, oh, I'm married, as if it's some ride at a theme park. But look, if you buy a car, you don't just buy a car. You have to put gas in it. You have to keep it clean, hopefully. You have to maintain it. You have to make sure the oil level is correct. You have to make sure the brake fluid is there. You have to make sure your brakes are working. There's constant maintenance. Yet most people get married and they think they're on a ride at a theme park. Okay, I'm in, close the door, buckle up, let's go, let's have fun. They don't do anything to increase the love and happiness in their marriage. And so their marriages deteriorate. And that is why marriages break down. And that is something you will do unless you learn about marriage. And I don't mean learn about marriage by reading other people's stuff. I was a divorce mediator, and I got all of the Western psychological ideas on marriage, and they're incorrect. You need to do this the right way. And I hope I've been helpful so far to get you started looking in the right direction. So that's it. Look, you could learn a lot about marriage by subscribing to this channel. Share this stuff, like it, leave a comment if you have a question. Go to the Premarital Academy website. There's so much you could do. All right? Blessings to you, and stay in touch with us if you'd like. We want to help you. That's what we're here for. God bless.